Hello, 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 it's Mr. Pouts. Alright, we are going to learn about slope-intercept form today. We've learned about slope, and we're going to learn about the way to write equations in slope-intercept form. So we're going to just focus on goal A here. So we're going to make this a two-part section. And so goal A is I can write linear equations in slope-intercept form. So we're going to give you a couple different situations where you'd have to do that. Alright, so first of all, what is slope-intercept form? Well, it's a form that we've already been using. We've written equations in this form before. Y equals something times x plus something, and we're just putting letters to those somethings. M is in the front, B is in the back. Now I just made that look bad. But our M is our slope. In other words, the change in y over change in x, the rise over run. There's many different ways to say that. The B, the endpoint, that's your y-intercept. So right here, we got this. So slope, just to recap, if you don't have this down, slope is the ratio of vertical change to horizontal change. So if you're looking at a table of values, you do the change of y over change in the x. We've done that before. If you're looking at a graph, focus on rise and run. Pick 2 points and find how many spots up or down you'd have to go. That would be the rise over the run, which would be how many spots to the right then. And if you're given 2 points, we use the slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Refresh your memory on those if you don't have those. The y-intercept. The y-intercept is defined as the y value of the point on a line that crosses the y-axis. Now remember, the y-axis goes up and down. So it's wherever the line crosses this axis. So if you're looking at a graph, that's what it would be. So in the case of this one right here, it crosses at 0. So it's 0. Where it crosses the y-axis right here would be -3, so the y-intercept is -3. So that would be what's at the end of the equation. All right, so there's 3 ways we're going to look for slope-intercept form. Writing equations in slope-intercept form. The first way is when you're given the slope and the y-intercept. So here's the steps, really simply. Take your slope-intercept form, which is right here, y equals mx plus b. And the 2 things that we need to have a number for are the slope and the y-intercept. Okay, keep that in mind. So we replace the m or the slope with whatever the slope is that we're given. Replace the b with the y-intercept. And now you have your equation. Easy enough, right? So let's try one. It says write an equation of a line with a slope of -4/5 and the y-intercept of 7. So we've got y equals mx plus b, remember? We have the slope, which is -4/5. That goes in for the m. We have the y-intercept, which is the b. That goes right there. So the equation of our line is going to be y equals, whoops, the daisies. Y equals -4/5 x plus 7. There it is. Just putting it in for that form there. So why don't you try this one on your own then. Number 2, what is the equation of the line with a slope of 3/2? Remember, the slope is your m. And y-intercept of -1. That's your b. All right, so that would be y equals 3/2 x plus -1 or -1. So you could write it like this as well. Y equals 3/2. You'll see this way too. X minus 1. Same thing. All right, second situation. Writing in slope-intercept form when given the slope and a point on the line. So this time we're only given the slope. We have to figure out the y-intercept. So let's just go down and look at an example first. It says, find the equation of the line with the slope of 2/3. So we know the m is 2/3. And passes through the point 3, 1. We want to figure out the b. So what is the b? All right, so here's your steps to finding that. Plug in the slope, m, or for the m, and plug in the point that you're given. It has an x and a y, so we're going to plug that in for the x and the y in slope-intercept form, because that's going to help us then solve for b. So we're going to have to do a step to solve for b. All right, then we have our b. We can put the m and the b back into the slope-intercept form like we had from before. So let's try this. We have the slope. That's good. So we're going to know it's y equals 2/3 x plus something. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug in for that slope-intercept form. Instead of, this is our y, or this is our x, and this is our y then, and this is our m. So we're going to plug in, so y equals mx plus b. The y is 1, so 1 equals m times x. So we have 2/3 times the x, which is 3. I'm going to write it as 3 over 1 right now, plus b. We need to solve for b. So to solve for b, let's get the b by itself. So first of all, what is 2/3 times 3, or 3 over 1? That would be 6 over 3, which is 2. So 1 equals 6 over 3 plus b, or 6 over 3 is 2 plus b. One more step to solve for b, we'd get rid of this extra number, which is 2, subtract it from both sides, so that this cancels out. We have the b by itself is equal to -1. So we bring that up here. We're going to erase that and say, oops, I'm going to bring this arrow around so it's not in the way. B is actually equal to -1 now. We figured that out. So we can put that into our slope-intercept form. So it's y equals 2/3 x plus -1. Or y equals 2/3 x minus 1. Hey, that's the same one we had before, isn't it? Ah, it was close. Never mind. So that's how you do it if you're given the slope and you're given a point. So you have to do a little work to figure out what that b is. But now we have our equation, one of these two ways, in slope-intercept form, in the form y equals mx plus b. All right, and there's one more situation. So it's writing in slope-intercept form when you're given just 2 points. We don't know the slope yet. We don't know the y-intercept yet. So we don't have the m or the b. So here's what it's going to be like. Here's your example. Right, what equation in slope-intercept form represents the line that passes through those 2 points? So how are we going to do that? Let's look at our steps here. We've got a few steps. It says, first step, use the slope formula to find m. Okay, so remember we need to find m and b. So let's do this. This is going to be our x1, our x2. I'm sorry, I messed that up. So our x1 and our y1. That's our first point. And our x2 and y2. So remember, slope. y2 minus y1. This is why we reviewed this at the beginning of the video. Over x2 minus x1. So let's plug that in and let's say, okay, so it's going to be -8, for this example, -8 minus 1 over 5 minus 2. Top is going to be -8 minus 1 is -9. 5 minus 2 is 3. And that reduces to -3, or -3 over 1. So we've got our slope. We've got our m now is -3, or -3 over 1. Leave it as that way. The b we still have to figure out. So now we go back to like what we did in the last problem. Plug the slope in for m, and one of the points in for x and y. Pick whichever one would be easier, usually the smaller numbers or the positive numbers. So let's take this. Let's say, so our slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. Let's plug in, I'm going to pick this point right here, 2, 1. So let's plug in 1 for y. The m is -3. The x is, we're using 2 there, because that's our point is 2, 1. And we don't have our b yet, so we have to solve for b. That's step 3. All right, so it's going to be 1 equals -6 plus b. And now to solve for b, we'd add 6 to both sides. Cancels out here. We have 7 equals b. So our b is 7. Now we have enough information to write our slope-intercept form equation, which would be y equals, the m is -3 times x, and I'm going to put it -3 over 1 just to get in that habit of having this fraction, plus We have our b is 7. There we go. It is in slope-intercept form now. All right, so make sure you take note of that. I have one example for you. It says, write what equation in slope-intercept form represents the line that passes through those 2 points. So why don't you try doing that one on your own? All right, so what I just did was I did the work to find the slope, and then I plugged that in, and I chose the second point to plug in into the equation to solve for b. Now, since the b is negative 3.5, we're going to plug in our m and our b into the slope-intercept form. So we have y equals 1/2 times x plus negative 3 1/2. Or again, you can write that as y equals 1/2 x minus 3.5, or minus 3.5. So totally okay if you use fractions. Or decimals instead. So there you go. That is how you find the slope, again, if you're dealing with, the slope-intercept form of an equation when you're given 2 points. So just to recap, if you're given the slope and the y-intercept, just plug them in to the formula, to the form of y equals mx plus b, and you have your equation. If you're given the slope and a point, plug that slope and the point in for y equals mx plus b for the y, the x, and the m, solve for b, and then put b and m back into the form. And then finally, slope-intercept, or when you're given 2 points, this is the longest one, you first have to find m, using the slope formula with those 2 points, put in the m, the x, and the y to solve for b, and then you can put those back into to make your final equation. So I have one more problem that I'd like you to ponder. It says, suppose you have a $5 off coupon at a fabric store. Okay, so whatever you're buying, it's gonna be $5 off. You buy fabric that costs $7.50 per yard. Write an equation that models the total amount of money why you pay if you buy X yards of fabric. Right now, I'm not going to say you have to graph it because we haven't done graphing, but I'd like you to write an equation for that. All right, in case you're wondering to see if you got it right, the equation would be y equals 750x plus negative 5, because it's $7.50 per yard, so that would be per x, and that minus 5 would be you get $5 off from the coupon. So that is it for the first section. For section A, I can write linear equations in slope-intercept form. We'll see you next time.